Welcome to IPR Radio. I'm Sanjay Mukherjee. In a country with a rich cultural heritage, where food serves as a cultural bridge, the poultry sector plays a pivotal role in meeting the nutritional needs of a growing population. The Indian poultry sector today stands at a crossroads, facing challenges such as fluctuating market demands, supply chain intricacies, and consumer perceptions. Today, we discuss on the topic of promoting chicken consumption, a strategic approach towards boosting India's poultry sector. The panel today are all second generation business owners who are bringing a fresh perspective and innovative ideas to the sector.
In the orchestra of life, each creature plays a part. At Sapience, we see the web of life, where the health of animals reverberates through ecosystems and societies. With innovative technologies, we're redefining the future of agribusiness, sustainably enhancing productivity and profitability. We don't just dream of a better future, we make it. Food safety, quality, and security. These aren't just words, they're our mission. We're Sapience, and we're committed to healthier animals because we believe in healthier living. Be a part of our melody, and together, let's compose a better world. For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapienceagri.com.
I first have the privilege of inviting our moderator, Dr. Vijay Makhija, who is a well-known personality in the poultry industry and has been here for about, I think, 2 decades now, Dr. Makhija. He has served as a president of INFA and is currently the chairman of the Biologicals and Biosecurity Subcommittee of INFA. Our speakers today are Mr. Rahul Khatri, Director, Bhagwati Feeds Private Limited, Ms. Shruti Ahire, Founder, Pro Chicken, and Mr. Prashant Kumar, Director, Sapiens Group. I now hand over the proceedings to Dr. Makhija to take the discussions forward. Over to you, Dr. Makhija.
Thank you, Sanjay, for setting up the context. A warm welcome to each of the panelists. Really appreciate your precious time in your busy schedule, and that too at the late evening hours. So it's really appreciate your participation. So as Sanjay mentioned that one thing common in all the three of you is the next generation. So we are truly delighted to learn from your insights on this particular topic. And more so ever, not only the next generation, but also the geographical diversity this panel brings along. Like Shruti, you are coming from Nasik, the Maharashtra. Rahul, you are coming from Haryana state. And then Prashant, you are coming from Karnataka, Bangalore. So we have a diversity in terms of geography as well, in terms of your experiences and insights as well. I'm very sure that with your perspective, the listeners or the watchers of this podcast will definitely get certain insight what the next generation is thinking about. So to kickstart this thing, I'll first request Prashant to share his thoughts on the theme of this particular podcast about promoting chicken consumption, a strategic approach toward boosting India's poultry sector. So in next 4-5 minutes approx, Prashant, maybe you can share your thoughts.
Thank you, Dr. Makhija, and thank you, Sanjay, for inviting me to be a part of the podcast. Good evening to my fellow panelists. It is indeed a great opportunity to be here with each and every one of you, and of course, sharing the stage with Shruti and Rahul is my pleasure. So I think it's a very pertinent topic that Dr. Makhija has chosen for this evening's discussion, involving how do we strategize and look to take a very strategic approach to increasing consumption. I'm a storyteller by profession, and by virtue of being a storyteller, I'm going to sort of look at the consumption story through the lens of a storyteller. So I think a couple of things come to mind. The first thing is that, just merely looking at marketing as the end all be all solution may be a limiting view of this entire equation. I think the story starts much earlier on in the process. And the reason I say this is because we need to give consumers points of differentiation, reasons to choose, reasons to buy more, reasons to consume more. Whether that is points of differentiation or comparison or advantages from the point of view of the product quality or the product itself, which is in this case meat or eggs, or from the point of view of consumer lifestyle, understanding the shifts and changes that the end consumer is really looking to make. Because if you look at it post COVID, a lot of things have changed. Customer expectations have become a lot more liquid. And people are very aware and conscious of the decisions that they make, particularly when it comes to health and the food that they put on their plate and their family's plate. So I think the story starts early on. It starts by really giving consumers, points of differentiation, and whether that is as part of the feed or whether that's part of the production system. I think that's part one, which is creating those points of differentiation. And us, as part of the protein industry, as producers, as feed millers ourselves, I think that's one thing that we need to start looking at, which is how do we start creating those points of differentiation. The second part is really how do we communicate those points of differentiation effectively. And that's where branding and storytelling sort of comes in. So how do you create a brand which is powerful enough to tell the right story, which essentially translates the points of differentiation that we've created in our production system, and represents that in the form of our brand. And eventually, part three is really the mode and the medium, which is the marketing story. So the way I look at it from my perspective is there are at least three parts, and I'm definitely oversimplifying this entire thing, but at least for the sake of discussion and to keep things on an even keel and simple, I think at least three parts. Part A being the production system, part B being the brand, the storytelling, the messaging, and part three being the mode and medium, which really involves the marketing aspect of it. I think if we're able to address these, we will then be able to really get to the crux of what are we trying to solve, and then tailor our marketing or messaging, and put our money where we really want to create that impact. And I am a very firm believer in this philosophy of thinking, which is if we really come together, involve all of our stakeholders, unify as one body, and facilitate a dialogue to really identify the problem that we're trying to solve, I think that's half the story won. Because invariably, if you're able to identify the problem and define the problem well enough, the solutions emerge themselves. So that's my high level perspective, Dr. Makija. Back to you.
Thank you, Prashant, for sharing your insight. Next, I will ask Shruti to share overall your views on this particular theme of this podcast.
So, firstly, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to highlight that the poultry industry is one such industry that goes through its ups and downs, and it is equal to a stock market. The rates go up and down. And there was recently this issue that we faced during COVID. A message via WhatsApp circulated that consuming chicken causes corona. So that really brought the industry to a standstill. I feel we as an industry don't have a platform exactly to reach to the customer. There are myths surrounding our product, and more than ever, social media is getting very powerful. So I feel social media overall plays a big role in marketing about the product as well. Just like any CC promotes its product, it says that Sunday ho ya Monday, rose khao ande. So even for chicken, I think we should have jingles, taglines, and we can use social media platforms, hoardings. We should do campaigns regularly as an industry, not only when we are in a crisis. So, marketing chicken will help overall. But I think coming to the topic about myths, that is what we need to address as an industry. And not only treating chicken as a delicacy, but I think treating it as a protein, something that should be inculcated in our diets on a daily basis, and not only when we want something different for our taste buds. So, as a retailer, I feel we should go get more into different products which are accessible for the consumers, even price wise, and different varieties in the way that we are presenting chicken in the market.
Very nicely articulated, Shruti, and totally in agreement with you that we are living in the VUCA time, which is full of volatility, uncertainty, and complexity also around us. So, how we navigate in these challenging times, that is a very good insight you shared. Now, I move next to Rahul. Your thoughts on the overall theme of this podcast?
Uh, this leaves me into a very tough situation after both of you have summed up almost everything. See, basically, looking at a perspective, we have two perspectives to look at. One is from a producer's end, the other is from a consumer's end. From a producer's end, we all have our own takes on how we should be into marketing our product, how we should make it feel different. But if we are able to understand the customer's perspective, we might be able to create a breakthrough that will give us an advantage on how we would be able to better sell our product through retail distribution networks, obviously. For example, I'll just cite a few examples. India is demographically a very wide area. We have every 100 kilometers, we have entirely different cultures, we have entirely different languages, we have entirely different eating patterns. So, one size fits all cannot be applied to promoting chicken. In southern India, where we have a very meat, fish, to be very specific, fish dominant eating markets, the marketing efforts of promoting chicken would be entirely different. In northern India, where we have very hardcore vegetarian states, promoting chicken would be entirely different. Right now, we are planning to run some TV commercials in which we would be targeting parent, the mother of the children in the family, because she is the cook. And we will be taking an advantage of how parents these days in our generation are very skeptical about their child's health. So that is the general trend, and it obviously would change after 15 to 20 years from now, because our parents, our generation is much more concerned about children's health. What should be fed to them to make them more brilliant, to make them more healthy, to have optimum growth. So the strategy, it's all about creating a strategy as per the time, as per the time we are right now, as per the geography we are situated in. Because if I create a strategy for say Haryana, it won't be applicable to even to Punjab, leaving Maharashtra or Karnataka or Kerala or Tamil Nadu, leaving them apart. So I think we have to devise some strategies that are oriented towards the culture we are working in, towards the culture we are planning to promote the chicken, towards the sociological barriers we are area. And obviously, as you rightly said right now, in India, chicken is consumed during special occasions. So it's a special food that is enjoyed when we have something to cheer about. So that perception should be changed. It should be involved into regular diets, the benefits of protein, the goodness of chicken along with egg. So I think a holistic approach would be the most sustainable approach, and that too would be dependent on the region we are working on. Thank you.
Rahul, you made a very interesting point that being our country is so diverse in terms of so many states and so many nuances of by states. So perhaps different states may have a different approaches, and the per capita consumption also state wise, if you see, there is a quite a variance as well. So definitely one insight which we get from your perspective is that we need to tailor made certain messaging, tailor made certain narrative even by the states as well. So thank you, Rahul, for that insight. Now let me move in the next now, a kind of a free flowing chat with all of you, and please do supplement or add up when I'm asking questions to each one of you. So, Shruti, when we are discussing, you are very passionate about talking about the nutritive values, the nutrition, what chicken brings to the table. So, can you please elaborate in your experiences of close to 3 years and running close to 11 outlets of the chicken? So, how has you been focusing on this aspect of the value proposition?
So, sir, I want to talk about Nasik and Maharashtra differently. So, Nasik is a holy city, as you know. So, there are a lot of patterns in the consumption of the customer that we see. So, during Ganpati or Navratri, like the holy festivals, the consumption goes down rapidly. And even in Maharashtra, except the region of Mumbai, it really affects the consumption overall. So, that is when the demand drops. And this is that something, nothing that we can do about. Instead, we can just educate the customer about the benefits of eating chicken and how protein plays a role in our body. Even doctors locally don't suggest women to eat chicken or eggs during their pregnancy. So I recently read an article that said that below 5 years, the babies are mostly underweight. That is what is happening recently, and that is showing in their nutrient deficiency also. So many people are suffering from B12 deficiency and the essential amino acids that chicken brings in our body. So I feel the advantages of chicken need to be promoted in general. As one article said that 80% of Indians are nutrient deficient in our country and protein deficient. So this awareness needs to be brought about, and consumers need to be made aware. We can do that via retail stores. Even the local association bodies in different states can talk about the importance of eating chicken on a daily basis and not only a weekly or monthly. So I think that is the need of the hour now.
Yeah, very nicely. Yeah, you want to add, Rahul, please?
Yeah, I would like to fill in.
Yeah.
Basically, if we make customer to think upon why should he eat chicken almost daily, we could have a better gain for that. Uh, I learned this thing from a series of some seminars being held by USEC, Protein for All, wherein they had a gathering that was not related to poultry at all. It was a general gathering. We were asked to invite people, and they would randomly choose people to tell them their daily protein intake in all the diets they consume through the entire day. And they were asked to calculate the amount of protein they are consuming. And their body weight was asked, and they were asked to calculate how much protein is required. They were asked to Google it and let us know. So once they had a figure, for example, if someone is weighing 55 kgs, he should consume at least 55 grams of protein. And the total consumption of protein was just 30 grams. And then we relatively showed them that a lot of lifestyle concerns like diabetes or blood pressure or thyroid in women specifically, basically all these problems that are related to any glands are can be a cause because of eating less protein, because protein is the core thing for synthesis of any secretion gland. So any secretion that is not happening in our body correctly might possibly be due to eating less amount of protein in our diets. So through your outlets, if you could just target educating people how much protein should they consume, it might help increasing some consumption through the retail channels.
And I agree with both Rahul and Shruti's perspective. And just to sort of add my 2 cents to this as well, I believe the need of the hour is really for us to unify.
Exactly. We do not have a common platform.
Yes, I think we need to have a common platform. The I think we, as the next generation, like what Sanjoy put it, are really calling for this to happen. We need to unify. We need to come together. We need to, and that's the only way we'll be able to make serious, tangible progress. Uh,
Exactly. I also concur with Prashant.
Yeah. So Prashant, Rahul, and Shruti, one thing which is emerging strongly is that the next gen is really looking forward that a cohesive and consistent and collaborative effort is required to give a very sustainable and long term impactful campaign on this particular topic. And yes, there are different opportunities for the next gen to come together and plan for it. One of them I'm familiar is this Poultry India initiative. They have a group of young leaders who come together, perhaps because it's just into early stages of progression. So perhaps more like-minded next gen people come together and brainstorm and prioritize certain areas and then build up upon that. But one thing is, each one of you is you know reinforcing the same message that unification is important for giving a impact in this particular campaign. So good. Moving next, I'll ask Prashant to share your, because we are living in the times where digital is revolutionizing each of our lives, right? So one of the example is this podcast itself that Sanjay has conceived, that we are talking to each other on this virtual platform. So likewise, there are different online platforms, as he was also mentioning the social media platform, and most of the people are, you can say, the next gen, and quite a number of generations are spending good amount of time on the social media. So how our sector, which is we are ideally, if you see, we are in the food sector. We are ultimately providing food to the growing population. How our sector can leverage this digital technologies, social media platforms, and the online platforms to communicate our messaging, communicate our value proposition, and let end consumer know the goodness of the protein, what is, or the holistic food which is chicken and eggs are offering.
oh, that's a great question. In fact, we're living in a very exciting era where technology is just bursting at its seams. Artificial intelligence is becoming pervasive. I think all of us, or if not most of us, use ChatGPT and other ways of interacting with data and information. I think it's important in our sphere to really understand who are our customer segments, which are the platforms that they're spending time, where are they spending time, at what time of the day are they spending time, and how are they interacting with social media. The reason I say this on a very broad way is the target segment that's using Facebook is very different from the target segment that's using Instagram, which is very different from the target segment that's using TikTok. And our consumers happen to be on all these platforms. So we can't be biased about choosing one particular platform. Rather, I think we need to start with understanding our consumers better. And unless we do that, we're not going to make or see tangible progress happen. That's what I believe in. I think it should be a good mixture of conducting some market research activities, and that can be done hyper locally, that can be done state-wise, because like Rahul and Shruti rightly pointed out from their first-hand experience, marketing chicken in Kerala is very different from marketing chicken in Punjab or Haryana or Nashik. So I think it needs to be market research, primary market research. I think we are all overly reliant on secondary information. Let's do some primary research, figure out who our customer segments are, where we're going to have the maximum impact. I believe, Rahul, you spoke about ads targeting parents, mothers. So where are we going to have those highest points of impact, and then start creating stories uh, that can really break through the clutter. I mean, this is really an ode to a personal friend, a family friend of ours who happened to have created the jingle "Sunday Hoya Monday Rose Khawande," who recently passed away. Mr. R. Bala, who was the former managing director of VHL based in Bangalore. Really a testament to his vision and how he was able to crack that narrative so many years before us, and we've not really done anything after that to really take that to the next step. So I think the onus falls on us. I think involvement of the industry bodies, involvement of the associations, PFI, Infa, CLAFMA, all coming together. Let's all sit in a room. Let's sort of understand, put together a governance measure in order to make this happen at a regional level. Conduct that sort of market research activity at whatever level is possible, realistic, and that can be done immediately, and then go ahead and start implementing that. Because I think it's high time that we acted and build on the great work of our fathers and their generations, and really act as vanguards to take the industry forward.
Thanks, Prashant, for such an elaborate insight. One thing which I picked up is about the need of the market research. So I do remember, Sanjay, at some point of time we had a dedicated market research professional coming on these kind of platforms and sharing. And that was in COVID time. So that person, shared in-depth insights on how the consumer behaviors are changing during the COVID time, how they are preferring food, how they are ordering food, at what frequency, and what kind of uh, amount of food is of purchased in a particular time frame of the day. So rich insights were available through market research. Perhaps I think a great point coming from your insight, Prashant, that a dedicated market research should be carried out in different, and maybe some states can be piloted, and where we understand, okay, what is the driver for the consumers for preferring the different kind of options of the food, and what can be poultry sector can be doing with that. So now moving next is throwing a question to three of you. Anybody can respond to that. Yeah, how the poultry sector can collaborate with the hospitality sector, the hotels and the chefs, that they can include or consider inclusion of the poultry products in the menu. So, any thoughts around this? What can be done?
For the restaurants that are already serving various forms of meat, uh, since on menus we have the spiciness of dishes, we can introduce leanness of the meat. Since chicken is the leanest meat, the amount of calories in chicken and the amount of protein in chicken with respect to other meats is obviously higher. So the leanness can be an added factor.
Definitely, and this is also one trend coming up. Having more and more healthy options in the diet. So the health awareness is increasing day by day. Like the consumers are day in day out checking what they are eating and trying to understand the nutritive value, the contents, and everything. So, any other thoughts from you, Shruti, or Prashant, like how we can further collaborate with the hospitality sector?
I think providing as a product from the production point of view, I would just like to add that as the poultry industry, we can provide with small birds which weigh lesser than the bigger birds, because that chicken is tender when you consume. So what I've observed in the hospitality industry is that they buy bigger birds and then the consumer doesn't end up eating that chicken. They think it is fibrous. So we as an industry can promote smaller weight birds, and it will result in good quality meat for the end consumer also. So we are currently supplying chicken to home cooks also. So I think that is also a growing market. Like that is a part of hospitality, and people are also preferring home cooked meals. So we see a lot of people ordering from home cooks. So they give biryani orders or tikka orders for barbecues. at their place. So I think that is also a growing market. So we are collaborating with them on the ground level. So hotels, gyms, different nutritious cafes. I think that is the future, and home delivery as well.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, and adding to that, Shruti, I recollected one of the scholars of a IIM schools. So they conducted, you can say, a particular study that what are the preferences of the consumers for the egg and chicken, or the what they are looking for. So one of the they recommended during that study was the poultry sector can also consider, engaging with the gymnasium people, like they are the ones who are actually kind of people sought after by the people to take advices. Okay, what should I eat, what I should not eat. So they are the ones who are influencing the decisions of the people who are going to the gym and taking care of the health. So this is one of the key, you can say, influencer kind of a stakeholder came up in their market research. So great point, Shruti. Maybe Prashant, do you have anything to add here?
okay, sorry. Just a thought here, as you guys were talking, and great points, Shruti and Rahul. I think there are lots of stories in Indian cooking that can be highlighted. I think there are two things I want to share. One is from a storytelling point of view, and the whole butter chicken fiasco has opened up a whole host of possibilities for us as marketers. Whether it is a story of butter chicken, or whether it's a story of a malai tikka chicken, I think there are stories that can be told to attract customers, bring them in, and if that's something an angle that we can help our restaurants and the horeca industry really talk about, that's an opportunity. But I think the second and the more practical one is also from the point of view of creating awareness. We have eggs which are the perfect protein. Why not talk about it and educate the horeca sector, from chefs to restaurant owners to home cooks, about the importance of a complete protein inclusion in their cooking, or whether it is chicken meat. I think there's a lot of scope even for education and creating awareness in a closed segment that is easy to target, is willing to listen, and who can be educated first, rather than even targeting a much larger pool of consumers. So that's just a thought. Rahul, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in. Uh, we can also target some sports institutions, citing an example of Gopichand's Academy. It's mandatory to eat non-vegetarian there. He has made it a mandatory rule. If someone is attending his academy, he has to eat chicken and eggs to complete the protein requirements that a sports person generally requires. Similar is the case, as Shruti was just pointing out, we could collaborate with gymnasiums, and we could collaborate with trainers in the gyms. It is being done in our area. I mean, in Delhi NCR, a lot of gym trainers, they do very specifically tell people to eat chicken, boiled chicken, to eat fish. A friend of mine is a national level weightlifter. She's a woman. She started late in her career, but she was from a family that was very typical vegetarian eating family. But since she went into weightlifting, she was told that without consuming protein, high quality protein that cannot be garnered through vegetarian sources, she won't be able to uh, build her body compatible for weightlifting. Similar is the case with wrestlers. I think in Kolhapur we have a number of wrestlers that can be worked upon there. These guys, they do promote chicken amongst themselves. So if we get few stories from such people who are into sports and are also inclined towards good protein nutrition, these stories can also help us in gaining some grounds for other places that are neglecting chicken, other sports institutes that are neglecting chicken and egg as a protein source. And we can obviously uh, hold some sessions for training institutes wherein the benefits of having high quality protein can be shared with people, if in case they are not applying it to their institutions, because it would obviously uh, improve the people who are being trained at the sports people who are being trained into that institution. It would obviously, it can be a, a plus point for them that their graduates, their trainees are excelling more rather than other institutions. So it can be targeted that way as well.
Great points, Rahul, and each one of you regarding the inclusion of, or connect point with the sports personalities or the sport institutions where the different sports persons are getting trained and getting, coached and guided very well. And we have also seen many number of examples of, sports personalities who are focusing on the holistic health and also focusing on certain sports dedicated requires a good muscle mass. So there also the preference for the poultry products is there. So next topic which I like to sort your inputs is around how industry can also engage with the culinary schools or the the people who are like chefs and or those institutions, they are also teaching or educating on the cooking as well. So is there any possibilities to engage with them? What are your thoughts? Yeah.
We have had a first hand experience here. We have had a run up for a small restaurant in Delhi NCR, and the chefs, they are almost, I mean, for last 2 years, what I have seen is almost all the chefs are very hardcore non-vegetarian eaters. I mean, I have rarely seen less than 10% of people who do not eat non-vegetarian. So I think if we go into a culinary school or something, uh, people are already being told there the nutritious value of chicken and egg, because that is the perception I have garnered from working into this industry for last almost 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah, and not only that, Rahul, we also have seen the advantage what the poultry products are offering is the accessibility. So throughout the country, in every nook and corner, these products are
Poultry is
available.
available. Yeah.
Available. More so ever in terms of affordability, also see we can also compare with the other animal origin or foods and other proteins as well. So there is quite a number of parameters which suggest that yes, it is accessible, affordable, and very wholesome food as well. So at the end of the day, economics play a significant role when the frequency of buying is concerned, because some of you mentioned that some poultry products as kind of celebrity food, in terms of celebration only. But if you see the affordability, yes, this particular aspect can also be, promoted well. That this is one of the most affordable food as well. So these are the three topics which I always say: the affordability part, the accessibility part, and the wholesomeness. If you see, like Shruti was also talking about the nutritive value of the chicken, and we all know the nutritive value of eggs as well. So this is a very holistic food which is there. So now moving next about since Rahul and Shruti, you are into thick and thin of the business. So what are the challenges in terms of the myth or impressions or perceptions you face from the consumer side? Like what kind of myths are surrounding the consumption of these products?
So, I would like to add that the people around me and even my customers, they think that eating meat he- causes to causes heat in their body, so they stop consuming chicken and eggs during summer. I think that is one of the biggest myths in the Indian society in general. Actually, the heat is caused due to the number of calories consumed, and not because you are eating meat. Number of calories increase even when you are having ice cream. So that is what I explain. It is number of calories and not the quality or the product that you are eating. For example, meat. And a lot of people don't consume chicken because they think it also causes them to gain weight. Whereas it is the opposite. Mostly when you start working out, your gym trainer will ask you to consume a certain amount of protein. And they say that it will help you lose weight, in fact, because protein is actually very satiating for your body and it makes you help feel full. and you will not get sugar cravings or food cravings once you have meat. So I think these are some of the myths associated. And people also think that we add hormones to chicken. These are the videos that are circulating on Facebook and Instagram also. So I would just like to clarify, and even on our social media, we clarified that hormones are not actually allowed in the poultry industry in India. And chickens only gain weight when they are given quality feed. So that is the difference that we still have to educate people about. And actually, there are different rumors in the market. There was a rumor about eggs as well, that plastic eggs are being supplied in the market. Actually, which is not feasible. The egg would be expensive. If it is plastic. So I think we need to debunk these myths via social media, hoardings, and wherever possible, local retailers can do that. Associations can do that, and we need to do everything in our power to debunk these myths.
Now, I would like to draw our attention back to social media here. Basically, nowadays, we are expecting social media to help us grow in consumption of chicken and egg. But actually, it's doing vice versa, as I have gathered from a lot of insights from a lot of articles. Basically, the festivals that we celebrate these days, or any incorrect information, it spreads like wildfire on social media. So that does more damage than the good we are trying to create through social media. So I find social media and these platforms a big culprit into stagnating our growth for promotion of consumption of chicken and egg. And looking at the festivals, a lot of people, our generation basically, that has been out of their hometown for a long time, they do go to Google and just type, how do we celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, for example. So it will very clearly be mentioned there, do not eat such and such things. It has to be avoided. This has to be performed for these many days. So they'll just stick to that. So it's doing more harm than doing us any good right now. So that also should be factored in while we try to promote something through social media.
I guess just building on what you were saying, Rahul, social media has given consumers a voice. So now the reverse is what is happening, which is we were speaking earlier and they were listening. Now they are speaking. I think we've got to listen, but we've also got to use that weapon in order to communicate what we want to communicate the right way. Because
Exactly.
the science is there. I mean, we are probably 5 years, 10 years ahead of human health in terms of nutrition, in terms of vaccinations, in terms of every aspect of quality control. We're up there. All we need to do is educate people
Yeah, let people know.
and use social media to our advantage. So social media should become our friend, not our foe.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you both, Shruti and Rahul. Dr. Makija?
Yeah, so it's like, I always say, example, like it's kind of a fuel. So fuel can be used both ways. Like it can be generate the energy, and it can fuel the uh, from a positive side, but it can also do the harm as well, right? So we need to see that how well prepared we are, how well our research is there, how well our contents are there, because it should be scientifically backed up. Because yes, the more and more scientific content is out there, more and more authentic and reliable information is out there, and we all can make a difference, right? Whatever is more authentic, whatever is more reliable, and we have many institutions, we have many, you can say, scientific people out there who's, when they talk, everybody listens. So if we do more and more work with the scientific people and the right content, I'm sure the goodness will spread, because it's all about the ratio. If you're more positive content, more scientific content, reliable content, people will definitely make choices based on the what content they are seeing. See, if there is some here and there, it's social media, right? Something can say something about a particular thing, but it's ultimately the consumers who are making the informed choices. They are making the judgment. We see our own example, like, not all of us can be, get carried away by one or two news here and there. We need to see the authenticity first. So more and more scientific engagement. I always say in, many of the interaction with the industry leaders that we need to engage more and more with the nutritionists, nutritional society. So I talked about one of the initiative last couple of years in Infa. What we have been doing, we are inviting the human nutritionists, like who are actually consulting at the hospitals, who are consulting and having their own nutritional consulting. So we are inviting them. We invited the Nutrition Society of India office bearers as well. So those people came and talk about how goodness of these products can be incorporated into the daily diets. So coming back, what Rahul said, yes, for that we need to have a solid content. We need to
Yes.
have well preparedness. We cannot just aspire for something without doing the thorough homework. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my point was just we should be entirely prepared for uh I mean we should prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So we should be prepared for all the misinformation, all the rumors that are spreading like wildfire on social media, and we should have a plan in place that how it should be tackled, how it should be reversed, so we could reap the benefits of social media to our advantage.
And
I was
building on
not being pessimist. Yeah,
No, no, you're
please.
not. You're being very realistic, and building on what you're saying, I think Indian consumers are amongst the most discerning and smart set of consumers in the world. I mean, from a consumer base, we're very, very intelligent. We're very smart. We make great choices. So I think it falls upon us to educate, to inform scientifically, like what Dr. Makija was pointing out, and give them reasons to buy from us.
Exactly. We should pitch it correctly.
Yeah.
Even during the period of COVID, I remember when doctors were suggesting people to have chicken for their immunity, and people were consuming chicken like anything before that. And during the period, I personally saw that the sales were high. So I think when immunity came into place, people were actually willing to eat chicken, and especially when it was suggested by doctors, people take it very seriously.
If we just run an ad, if you feed your child a chicken or an egg on daily basis, chances of him becoming an IS officer or a very intelligent scientist or so and so dignitary is almost 90%. So we will see a mass shift towards parents promoting their children to eat chicken, even if the parents are not even touching it.
The same thing happened with Bonvita also, I think. It was associating with the
Exactly.
brain development, and it
Exactly.
really helped with their campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing, what I always say, that whatever messaging or narrative we have, it should be backed up with science, backed up with the thorough data, because to bring the more authenticity around that. So I think it's quite a number of ideas have come through your deliberations. So we are coming closer to that timeline. So in one sentence, if you need to say any, you can say takeaway, or let's say one point message from each one of you, starting from Prashant. Let's say what would be that message, considering the theme of this program?
Think for me, it is let's unify, let's all come together, let's create awareness based on science, based on evidence, based on fact, and let's make a very serious attempt to use social media, make it our friend, and use the power of social media to make a significant difference.
Yeah, maybe Shruti, coming to you.
So I think unifying is one thing that we all should do, and we need to have a campaign like NECC, and we need a body in India that communicates with the consumer, and I think we should do it on all platforms, and even do regular chicken festivals in every 6 months. I think that brings a lot of crowd, and we should not look at the profit in those chicken festivals. All the producers and the retailers could also chip in that, and I think only we should not do that only when the crisis arises. and more we should use more platforms other than social media also, like newspapers, radio jingles. And I think it will help us in the long run. Obviously, branding doesn't show the results like immediately. We need to do it consistently, and that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, and coming to your point, yes, we do dwell a lot on the new generation marketing, but yes, the omni channels like the offline marketing or the conventional billboards, advertisement and wall paintings and so on and so forth. Like these are always in there, the traditional ways of marketing. That the omni channel approach should be fine. Yeah, Rahul, your topic.
Again, Dr. Makija has put me in a tight place. I'll also concur with Prashant and Shruti. Basically, the idea should be it should be a holistic approach using all forms of advertisement, print media, digital media, and television commercials, radio advertisements. It should be a holistic approach using everything, and we should pool our resources together, as both of you rightly said, because a lot of effort is being made, but it's being made very discreetly. Like Shruti is promoting her own brand, she's doing very discreet promotion of chicken in the end. The product being promoted here by everyone is chicken, right? It's under their own brands. So if we could pool some resources together from across the nation, we could have a small pool of resources that can be accessed by various bodies like NECC did for egg, and the impact of that campaign would be much drastic than the ones that are being implemented discreetly right now.
Yeah, rightly said, Rahul, and each one of you. See, in coming to the summation of this, see what really drives each one of us is that we are a growing population. Like say, we are 1.4 billion plus people out there. So, and to minimum give at least 2 meals a day, we require so much of food. So much of food to be produced, and every 16 seconds it says that one more person is added to our country. So imagine the amount of people we are adding up, and the resources are limited, right? So the best solution is how we can produce food sustainably. And yes, poultry production is one of the most sustainable food production. And affordability, accessibility and wholesomeness, if these three parameters, if we package it properly with the science and data backup, I think we should be in a good position to give consumers a holistic nutritional solution. So with this, I give it back to our host of this podcast, Sanjay. Uh, any thoughts from your side, or anything you want to ask to the panelists in the submission?
No, it's been a lovely discussion today, and I think we've got a lot of useful insights that have come in from the young people of the industry. Very heartening to note, definitely. And as I think everybody has said, unification towards a common goal is what is the need of the hour. And as long as young people think that way and act towards it, I think we're on the right tracks and the right in moving in the right direction. Also, since we've all spoken about the hospitality industry and the culinary schools, etc., I think it's time that we as an industry start believing that we are part of the food industry and not a separate producer of chicken and eggs. If we start thinking of ourselves as as an integral part of the food industry, of the hospitality industry, the culinary world that is there, I think these collaborations start taking shape. So that's my little bit on this. But net, I think it's been a wonderful discussion, and thank you everybody for being a part of this. Thank you, Dr. Makija. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Shruti. It's been a wonderful discussion today, and I'm very happy that all of you could be a part of this podcast and have contributed to it so meaningfully. Dr. Makija.
Thank you. Thank you so much, each one of you. And that's how we conclude this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you. It
having
was,
me.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
thank you for
Bye
hosting everyone. Thank you.
bye. Bye bye.
Thanks, Shruti and Rahul.
That is a wake up call against the growing shadow of antibiotic resistance over our poultry, our health, and our world. To fight this menace, Excelsio, a natural antibiotic free performance enhancer, marshals an army of bacteriophages, each engineered by evolution to engage a specific bacterial adversary. Excelsio uses a cocktail of bacteriophages that protects your flock against various strains of Salmonella, E. coli, Clostridium perfringens, and Staphylococcus aureus. Excelsio is more than a product. It's our shield against antimicrobial resistance. It's our stand for a safer, healthier future. For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapiensagri.com.
To be notified of upcoming podcasts, like and subscribe our YouTube channel at IPR Radio today.